We're going to check out the velocity scan and look inside that storm and find the rotation if there is any. And sometimes this is really nondescript. Okay, here's a situation where we're not finding much rotation in the path of this storm, and there's a little bleb. Okay, so now it appears, maybe there's a little delay. You can see the possible rotation. So if you are in these towns in Attleboro, North Attleboro, North Seekonk, you want to be headed to the lowest level of your home. And if you don't have a basement, that would be the lowest level, obviously. But if you don't have a basement, then just go to the center room and the lowest level of your home. And if you know of anybody, now this is a situation where we're not seeing it all the way up through Foxborough. It's just south of Foxborough. Everybody letting out huge crowds now from the concert as they get onto Route 1 and 495. But anyone headed in that direction, you want to let them know, maybe by text or phone, when it's safe. Obviously, not if they're driving. But you can see, too, that this possible rotation in here, all things considered, it's a difficult scan to look at because it does show the intense winds with the line. This is one of those buried tornadoes, we can sometimes call it, because you have your straight line winds coming out, and sometimes you get brief spin-ups. They can be gustnadoes. In other words, the gust that's coming out spins up these little vortices sometimes at the edge, the leading edge of the outflow and the strong wind, and that may be what's going on here. I don't think this is a false alarm. I think this is definitely something that could be buried within that downdraft, buried within those straight line winds. But if we were just to probe that and look at that particular burst of wind, we know that that has been intense, right? Now it's a singular burst that maybe its own little microburst. I'm not going to speculate, but that might be a microburst. And within that downdraft, you can have some strong winds, and you can also have the possibility of spin-ups around it, too. So, again, the velocity scan, when you look at it at a wide view, it's a very small portion of that thunderstorm that's coming out of Rhode Island. Specifically right now, if you were in Attleboro, you want to be taking cover with this. And to be more specific, let's get to city mapping here and right down to the ground level almost. Old Post Road and County Road. There are likely trees going down in the path of this. I can almost promise that. This is one of those rare instances where we're close to the radar site. We're probing right into the storm. We can see vividly now what is going on. And so all these towns and all these actual areas and neighborhoods, there's most likely some nasty wind damage ongoing right now. So this will be a big swath of damage through the city of Attleboro. And it's likely that that's occurring right now. This is a rare situation. Again, we're close to the radar site. You can see it out of the corner of your screen. And we're tracking this in real time right now. Real time watching this potential burst of strong gusty winds and potential tornado too. If you're just joining us, we are going to stay on the air until midnight tonight until the warning is up, but a tornado warning now being issued out of this line of thunderstorms that we've been watching. You're looking at rain right now, nothing else, and lightning, and this is the warning that's ongoing. Now, there are a lot of overlapping warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm warning going on, but this magenta coloring right here is where we're finding that tornado warning and the path of that storm. Let's put a track on that so we can put people at ease who are near that thunderstorm and near that possible tornado. This is what we're specifically tracking right here as it heads east-northeast. So this is the path of that possibly tornadic part of the thunderstorm complex that we're seeing. And this is going to Bridgewater and Taunton and into Plymouth. Let me get my desk out of the way so you
Hey, Pete, while you're working on that, let me just ask you, it is, of course, dark outside. It's near midnight. Many people will be asleep. How does word get to folks who aren't near their phones or watching the television at this hour?
This is the problem, right? I'm hoping that this is going out on alerts on phones for folks out here. This is the best source of information, live television, oddly enough. You know, it has not died. We still have a purpose here, and this is exactly why we're going to stay on the air, because this will be actually the one source that people have for finding out what's going on real time, because obviously I'm not here tweeting, I'm not on Instagram, but Attleboro right now, the city of Attleboro under the gun for this perhaps intense microburst going through town right now. And if we, again, take a little probing of the wind speeds, I wouldn't get too hung up on the actual negative sign on that, but that's a 70-mile-per-hour wind, and that's, again, just probing. If I went back to that purple pixel right there, and that might be the most intense part of it, If I can probe that, we'd have an idea maybe what the most, and I was 31, maybe I just missed it. You have to be right on the money sometimes with these, but you get the idea that this is not a storm to be messed with as it heads eastbound. I'm tracking the microburst. There's also the possibility of a tornado here. And again, I use that term loosely. Obviously, we do not know exactly if it's a microburst, but boy, it looks like it to me. I mean, going through college, you could see a textbook situation like this unfolding. But Attleboro is in that tornado warning, portions of 495. All these towns in the path of this possible tornado. This is in Norton, too, and in North Attleboro. In a few moments, I will have to switch radars because it's getting too close to the radar site. And we go under, I'm getting deep here, we go under what is known as a cone of silence. So the thunderstorm is going to cross over the site, and it can't see directly above, so it's going to have to actually take it from another radar site. And what I will do is transition over to the terminal radar site out of Logan Airport, or near Logan Airport, that will actually probe into the storm. Unfortunately, that's not the best technology, right? So I'm not going to be able to show you all the detail. But before we go into the cone of silence with this storm, I want to let you know that this is exactly a very, very dangerous situation. And this is one where you definitely have to take cover right here with this severe thunderstorm and potential tornado. We do not yet know if there's a tornado on the ground. I'll go over and check the storm relative velocity, and we'll see if it can see any kind of rotation in there. Nah, it's a little nondescript. I think we're getting too close to the radar site. And yeah, all I have is the straight line wind right now. So I'm going to have to actually switch radars